Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Off day, good morning everyone. Thanks for starting your day the KUAM way. You're watching morning meeting, just Nestor and I right now, and Jason's behind the iPad. It's going to be a pretty long day.
It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a big week. A lot of stuff going on, of course. The governor is going to be presenting her State of the Territory or State of the Island address.
It's at 6:30. We're actually going to be carrying it in partnership with PBS on TV8. We'll also be streaming it on Facebook. We tried to speak with her this morning, at least Chris did. He was at a ceremony this morning, and I'm not sure if they have the clip. And he tried to get some information from her about what we might expect.
So I guess just Gov, real quick, what kind of speech can we expect tonight for State of the Island?
A great speech.
What are some of the things you're going to be touching
We're going to
on?
just talk about what we did, what we're going to do, and how we're going to make our Guam better in the future.
What are some of the, are you going to be unveiling any big plans or programs tonight?
All of the plans are big, so yeah, we're going to do a big unveiling of everything.
Well, she didn't say a whole lot.
Obviously, she's got a lot on her mind. I think first and foremost, on top of everything, will be the looming impact of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
We just found that Korea has raised its level to the highest since in the past decade. The State Department has also issued one notch increase in their not warnings but just advisories about Japan and Korea. And of course, Japan and Korea are our biggest markets. Speaking to a couple of folks that are involved in the tourism industry, and they're saying the bookings for April going forward are close to zero from Japan. So that, wow, I'm sure is very, very alarming. We've gotten calls to GVB to get some more information on that. Yeah.
Right, and I think it was just last week, not Mary Rhodes, but it was the cancellations were at 15,000. Yeah. The Chamber of Commerce, they wrote, was it 3 letters now? The third one coming out Friday night.
Yeah.
After hearing from the governor that she wasn't going to introduce legislation.
Well, I think both the governor and the legislative leaders that we spoke to have all indicated that at least as far as the Chamber's request for to delay the implementation of the minimum wage increase by 6 months, they're not going to support that. And the Chamber responded recently, bless you, the Chamber responded, I think it was on Friday, that it goes beyond just that request to push back the minimum wage increase. They're also seeking other kinds of help, and on top of that, would be, at the top of that list would be the possible rollback of the business privilege tax from 5% back down to 4%. But again, the governor has said that that's not something she would be willing to do, because the government is facing its own troubles with revenue. So we'll see. I hope she talks about it during. I'm sure she will during today's State of the Island.
And again, we'll be carrying that live on KUAM. And Jason, as you can see, just kind of joined us.
Just kind of slid into the DMs of the couch, if that even makes like sense. I just wanted to jump in because I wanted to say from a sports perspective, and we're going to talk about local sports in just a second, but I do know, Nestor, that the government of Japan, speaking about economic impacts, the government of Japan said early last week that the coronavirus scare was not having any impact on the potential for the Olympics to be canceled because it's going to be held in Tokyo. Talk about like a disaster if they cancel that. But they said everything is going to go on as planned, and they are
well. That's
really
what they're saying right now.
I don't think they're going to cancel it, but to say that there's not going to be an impact, I think is it's not realistic.
And I've heard that there may be like potentially looking at isolating particular countries from participating now, which would be really, really serious. I mean, that's unprecedented as far as with the Olympics. I mean, that's kind of like entire countries boycotting. That goes all the way back to 1980.
There was a ladies professional golf tournament in Japan. I think it was last week. They did not allow any observers. They didn't allow any fans in, which was so weird. And specifically because they were fearful of the coronavirus. And so, I mean, that just speaks to what are you going to do for the Olympics?
Now, as a golfer, I'm just curious and everything. if you're playing at like a PGA or LPGA level caliber tour, and you don't have the gallery to kind of like draw on and feed off of and everything like that, would that be even more pressure?
Well, I'm sure for professional golfers who are used to that, who probably expect that, it would be very weird. It would be like playing for big money prizes, but nobody's there. So I'm sure that was strange for them. No one
Right.
clapping, no one,
No one doing the little golf clap.
yeah, exactly. So,
Hey, welcome back from vacation,
Hey, thanks.
bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good,
welcome
good
back.
to be back.
We missed you, man.
Yeah, so I had a productive morning already. I was over at the Sinanya precinct reopening.
Yeah,
It's a grand so it's for real open now.
because
Like
they
they
made the
moved it.
announcement. What?
In June of last year, and then they were saying it was going to open in October, but then they ran into some issues. So it was a pretty low-key ceremony.
Well, interestingly enough, I was looking at the governor's State of the Island address from last year, and in her address last year, it mentioned the Sinahanya precinct, and that it would be opening, what did she say? Opening, we will soon cut the ribbon to open the new Central Police Precinct in Sinahanya, and that was last year, her last State of the Island address, so it's kind of ironic that today
Talk about
it's the
timing.
State of the Island
Yeah.
address, and the ribbon was cut.
Yeah, so I was able to talk to the Gov really briefly.
Yeah, we
about-
ran
Oh,
the
was that on
audio.
that?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
really brief.
Yeah, very
like
brief.
23 seconds brief.
She wasn't really in the best mood this morning, I got to say. Of course, with me showing up at 8 o'clock in the morning, probably not the first thing you want to look at.
So
yeah,
you didn't
so-
get anything else? That was
No,
pretty
she
much
said
it?
just watch the speech.
Oh.
So, I mean, we're definitely going to be
And we're all going to be.
Yeah, we're all gonna be watching
watching
that speech. I mean, she's got a lot to say, a lot of issues to address. And
Last year, she said the state of the island is promising,
Right.
so it'll be good. There's a lot going on, like you said. So
I
people
mean,
want to know what's happening and what are the plans going forward. I mean, we've seen
I'm sure
crime.
coronavirus is going to be a big
Yeah.
part of it too. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I wonder how much of the speech is going to be used to address like coronavirus and the plans and appeasing allaying the public fears, and how much of it is going to be used for all the other stuff that.
I have a projection, my friends, about if the governor should speak if her voice is a little bit more raspy, or maybe she's like a tad more hoarse than she normally is. It's because the Gov is a legit basketball fan, and she
Right.
was cheering hardcore last night. They had like the Thunder Sticks. She was leading the charge, and it wasn't just okay. Like there's the governor, guy respetu. Let's all go do. I mean, she was like, "Come on, Guam, let's go."
Right. Yeah.
So if the Gov may have to take a couple more swigs of water than she normally would when giving
Get
a
a
speech
Halls.
and everything. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. She was into the game last night.
And my brother, I don't know why I said that. My son actually went to the game, and he was so excited.
Was he
about
there?
it. He was there, and he was. He said, "Mom, is Steve Adams going to be playing?" Because
Stephen Adams from New
Yeah.
Zealand. He's a native Kiwi.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
but he
He's
plays
at
for Oklahoma City.
Oh, that's right.
I was like,
yeah.
"No,
Okay,
Stephen
and
Adams."
and I want to say, because we were there, and first of all, thank you to FIBA. The production was like world class. I mean, second to none. They were really, really. We had like a series of dry runs, and all of us were like, dress rehearsal for a basketball game. But I mean, they ran the thing like to a T.
Yeah,
They-
some of our
they used us.
photographers, our production team,
Right.
Yeah.
help with the game.
And then we also we live streamed the post game press conference. You can actually check it out right now on the YouTube channel for FIBA FIBA. But our guys unfortunately did not pull out the win. But what a show they put
I
on!
mean, hell of a game. They closed a huge gap. They rallied
Yeah.
in the third quarter, and I thought it was an excellent show.
And if you
Well, in
just
the first half, weren't they up?
we were actually up 24-22 after the first quarter. And then I mean, if you take a look at the score and just take a look at the margin, okay, we lost by 19, but there was a lot to build on. I mean, our
Right.
guys never gave up. I mean, they thrilled the crowd, and they had this one surge where we had two massive dunks.
Yeah.
There was 6'9" Curtis Washington, 6'11" Jonathan Galloway, and then a 3-pointer by Ernest Ross, and then Jericho Cruz, who plays professionally in the Philippines for Ateneo. He was really getting to the crowd. Every time they subbed in like a local kid, the place went
Right.
nuts. I mean, I had the PA system and I was the announcer. I couldn't even hear myself. But every time we're like, "Oh, subbing into the game now. Point guard from JFK, JP Cruz." The place was insane.
Cool.
Every time. Irv Jose, JP Cruz. But, our guys, really, really good show last night. And they kept their heads up the whole time. The Guam guys took so many pictures afterwards. They were unbelievably accommodating. There were so, like I said, for for local kids that play basketball, like your son, that's probably the first time they've seen like a real slam dunk.
Yeah, he was like, "Mom, I want to play basketball again."
I mean, back in the day, I'm so old school. Like, we would make a big deal if someone could dunk with like a tennis ball. Remember back then, it was like, oh my God, so and so could dunk a tennis ball. Now it's just like everyone's dunking. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, but everybody was so into it.
Yeah, think of all the kids like Brisa, and they will be
Yeah.
inspired to play.
Right, yeah. Cool.
He had the little, what are those Bank of Guam?
The Thunder Sticks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and he was just like hitting me, Mom. I had so much fun. I'm like, okay, stop.
But you know what? You know what was one of the highlights too is because we were playing New Zealand, and in keeping with the Maori culture and their tradition, they do the ceremonial
yeah,
haka.
Haka, right?
And
They do it?
and I was so proud. Every one of us Guamanians that was at the UOG Caval Fieldhouse last night, great job by cheering, showing respect, because the haka, there's a clip on YouTube in 2014 when they did that against like Team USA, and the Team USA guys looked like they were getting ready to fight. I mean, it is meant to intimidate your opponent,
Right.
to show off, to show your cultural pride, but it's also the highest form of respect you can give to your opponent. I mean, it is a centuries old, battle tradition and everything,
Cool.
but it was absolutely amazing, and they were true gentlemen, the New Zealand team, and their FIBA hasn't adjusted the ranks yet, but they're just coming off a win when they beat Australia.
That was huge.
Their arch rivals. Australia's the number 3 team in the world,
Yeah.
and when FIBA gets its ranks updated, New Zealand is now at 23, Guam is at 74. New Zealand's going to be in the top 15 in the world,
What was
and
the
we stood
points
head to head
spread
with
for
those guys.
The win over Australia.
They won by 10. They won 108-98
Okay, and so we lost by 19.
by 19. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were toe to
No,
toe
we
with those guys
trailed
the
and we
whole
closed the
game.
gap, so I think it was a good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
Go-
and with everything leading up to the game.
Yeah.
Great job.
We never gave up, never put our heads down and everything. So Team Guam is looking really, really good.
All right, thanks a lot, Jason, for that recap.
There you go. All right, well, I guess we're done. So, thanks for joining us on a morning meeting. On behalf of the team, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.